Hello, my name is Malik Abasdab. Welcome to PM Express. If you are 20 or 25 or 30, chances are you have been confronted with this question: when are you settling down? Whether you are male or female, you will be asked this question if you find yourself in this age bracket. And almost all the time, the answer is the same: I'm still searching. What are those things to look out for when you are searching for a partner? On this show, we bring you a renowned marriage counselor who will help us look at those signposts to consider when you are choosing a partner. We will be back. My guest today is a renowned marriage counselor. He's an international evangelist. He's the founder and president of Fruitful Ministries. He is a professor of biology. In fact, if I were to list all his accolades, I'm sure by the time that the show ends, we would not have finished listing them. Reverend Samuel Kisiedu, welcome to PM Express.
Thank you.
Reverend, let's zoom into the discussion straight away.
Right.
What does one look out for if one sets out to look for a partner?
You see, because we are physical, and when a physical is no more, then there's no marriage. Because we don't marry after death. We tend to look for what is physical. It's important. And that is why if someone doesn't attract you, be very careful how you marry the person. But beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, so it varies from person to person. But what you use to actually, what the physical promotes is what you don't see, the unseen. Because we go through changes and you're going to get old. When what stirs up the emotions, the juicy things, and the physical will begin to fade, grow old, wrinkles set in, teeth drop, hair changes. So if you don't look for what you don't see, which are principles, values, and character, then you're going to be in trouble. Because when you hit 80, 85, 90, the values and the principles and other things that are invisible and character traits that you look for are going to sustain the relationship. And they will have developed and grown to the point where you see full fruition, production of fruit of what you look for.
You mentioned three things: principles, values, and character.
Yes.
But you preceded these by looking at the physical appearance of the person.
And I intentionally did that because we are physical beings. And because we are physical beings, God uses the physical to promote what is spiritual.
How relevant is the physical in this?
The physical is important because being physical, I mean, even food, if it doesn't attract you, it doesn't mean it attracts you, so you eat. But talking about someone you're going to spend the rest of your life with, to enjoy the person, there are appeals of the eye and the mind and the heart of the natural man. And you must put away unnecessary standards and let what is wise and careful and meaningful attract you. God wants us to enjoy, for example, passionate love, which is the feeling love. But that is not what you use for the final decision. You see, it's like being a student is not because you went to class or because you went to the dining hall or because you registered. And then you fill some forms, more or less promising that I'm going to obey the rules and be part of this institution. Then you go to classes. So if you go to classes all the way through and you haven't actually registered because your dad is the principal, or sometimes you sit in some classes. In the US they do. They use all kinds of phrases for that. You're not part of the class. You won't get a grade. So what I mean is that naturally we see people and we want them. Even if you saw dreams and angels spoke to you, finally you see the person. You want to see the picture. You want to imagine. Finally you want to physically see the person from top to bottom. And there are appeals that differ from person to person. But that is supposed to help you do the visual aids. See, if I want to see, like I wear glasses, the glasses is not my eye, but it's helping me. So if I have the best glasses, but I have my retina and my aqueous humor and vitreous humor, my cornea and this and that, I'll get problems. So this is to help me. But finally, I must focus on the eye. You can have the best glasses and you still don't see. The point is this. If you want to zero in to the point. In marriage, look first for what you don't see. But how do you see when you haven't interacted physically and the person hasn't appealed to you? Did you get what I mean?
So the appeal is the first spot?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you have to see the person. I mean, who has ever married without saying, the person appeals to you. The person, so somebody told me something that surprised me. I'm still learning. It tells me you can even get fired up. I thought men have that problem. A woman fired up by just looking. So I said, what do you mean? He said, I couldn't believe that, and she's a Christian girl, not that she's somebody who is running around excursions at Akosombo. I mean, Akosombo in the sexual sense.
Yeah.
Went to a restaurant with my boyfriend. We were sitting down, and for some reason, he saw a man sitting across who fitted exactly what she had always dreamed for. That this man is good. But there are certain things, you want them. I was telling people yesterday, they were laughing at some program. It is when the men have fallen in love, that is when all the breasts now begin to look. First, you are not, because you are afraid of running into problem. You'll be surprised to find you are comparing the breasts of your partner with, I wish I had a little bit. You compare the buttock, you compare this, you compare that. Unconsciously, you don't decide to compare. But that is fine because you're afraid, hey, so I'm going to take only this one. But then you say, if a little bit of that hair were added to this. So she was sitting down and saw this man. He said you couldn't believe that when you allow yourself to be caught up. She was talking with the boy, but was glancing and gazing at the boy to the point
the other person sitting at the other table.
Until her feelings went so high she got wet. Wow. I said, yes. I said, wow. So that can happen to a woman. So she was exactly all along, all the features, I don't know whether the color, the nose, the muscles, I don't know what it was.
And yes, she was sitting at a table with her boyfriend.
Yes.
How much of a problem is that?
It's a problem because, you see, marriage also is like a restaurant. If you are eating your gari and beans and maybe fried plantain, then in the middle of it, oh, they have soup, light soup and fufu. Someone's bringing it. Oh, they have okro soup and bangu. Oh, I didn't know. It's a long time since you better eat your food and go. There is nobody in this world who is such that you have the one and there is no one to compare with. Look, there are people who complain about lovemaking and say, hey, some people do so well. But they are lazy, they will never work. Some are using all the time to work. They don't even have love even to hug their wives and things. Work with what you have. I know we'll come to that. Okay. Work with what you have. Be grateful to God for that. Whilst you wait for the rest. You see, enjoy whatever textile in a small town in Ghana whilst you wait for the Dutch works. Wait for that little car until you have your Mercedes. You see,
because it is practically impossible to have everything in one.
Impossible.
On that note, we have to take a break. When we come back, we will go through all the various principles that Reverend says you must look out for beyond the physical attractions of the person. You're watching PM Express, and we are talking about what to look out for when you are choosing a partner. We will be back. Yeah, welcome back. We are discussing what to look out for, how to choose a partner. My guest is the international evangelist and renowned marriage counselor. He does the seminar at Joy FM's program for persons who want to buy equipment and materials and tools for their weddings. You were talking about the physical, and I have a friend of mine who appears to be in a certain country, and the scenario you just painted appears to be applicable to him. He finds a lady and then he tries to work it out, and then he finds another person he thinks has better physical features. Now he lets this go, he picks that one, and then as time goes by, he finds another person he believes has even more enhanced and better qualities than the one he has, and then he lets that go. So he's always on the move. Is that a problem?
Yeah, you see, as you said it, I said to myself, here's a man who's capricious. He's not stable. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, as scripture says in James 1. You see, in the new book I wrote, Qualities to Look For, I've done it a lot in seminars, but I'll put it into a book. I've listed 17 things to look for when you're going to marry a girl.
Let's deal with them.
You see, there are so many. One of the first things to look for is humble understanding, which and number 2 therefore becomes cooperative.
So humility is important.
Humility and understanding. If you want to make it between 3 of them, humility. If you don't decide to bring your mind down to the person, when you humble yourself to the person's ideas, the person's needs, in a way to work with what the person has. The person may not have it all. You want to say humble yourself under God's mighty hand. I don't see his hand, I see his word. So the word coming from the person, what the person wants, you bring yourself down to try to link yours with, and the other person must humble himself, then you work it out. There's a submit to one another out of reverence for Christ, which we have in Ephesians 5:21. And then the one is understanding. A lot of the divorces and things, he doesn't understand me. And that is where the differences between men and women come in, which is another thing. If you don't understand differences, that a man, for example, is a creature of the mind. When you're talking to a man, you're talking to the mind. Talking to a woman, you're talking to the heart. So those differences will give you the understanding as to the gender, the understanding according to background, understanding according to education standard, understanding according to who raised the person, understanding according to the culture and tribe, understanding according to all kinds of experiences. So you have to know the person. Knowledge is what we use. That's where discussions go on. Then the person must be a woman must be cooperative. If the woman doesn't cooperate, very difficult to marry her. Because when he wants this, he wants this. And women are emotional. That's one difference. We are mind people, they are heart people. So when you are talking to a woman or dealing with a woman, you are dealing with the heart. And that is why they take little things to heart and we think they're childish. These are not important. We are talking of serious things. But the glass, you see, when I watch it, when I drink this, I smell this. Man, I don't smell anything, I'm enjoying it. And she is saying, can you imagine gummy bears? Gummy bears are those little gummy toffees. I like them. For years, they are different colors. My daughter says, I like the strawberry, I like this. I was surprised for years. I don't worry. I see yellow, red, green. Not knowing that some of them are different flavors, strawberry flavor and apple one. You just eat. I just eat. And she was picking. I said, why are you picking? They are different flavors. Before I started out thinking, when I taste them, oh yeah, I think there is some difference. That's how women are. They look at the threads, we look at the whole fabric. So you look at that. And if you don't teach her to understand you, they also think we don't care. We don't care because the little things like someone who is always on the phone after work. I want to ask her, she said, because the husband doesn't converse. It's not money, it's not the building, it's not car. Women are creatures of the year. One Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Women became creatures of the year. And when you look and say, though the woman was brought naked. They were covered by the glory of God. Sin took the glory away, which in Christ is restored. So you look and say, So we are creatures of the eye. And because men are conservative, they never forget how you look like when they met you. So know and maintain as much as possible. Like I like my wife's fingers were nice. I like the hair in places, you know. So most times at the beginning of the marriage, anytime I traveled, I bought hand cream. I want to maintain a hand.
Because you want to hand.
Things like that. Then the woman must be a woman who is domestic. If a woman is running around who doesn't know how to cook, look, there are some girls today.
I find it a very controversial.
Men must cook too. But look, naturally, when a woman puts something together and it is tasty for a man, it invokes love. That's what the women don't understand. That is why people run into problems when a wife travels and some sister comes to cook or it passes by a classmate's place, eating and eating, you fall in love. When the food is so good, of the top things that men like, they want respect, number one. Number two, they want good love making. It's a God-given need. We go up quickly. Number three, good food. Doesn't mean you shouldn't cook too, no. Good food and then love and support. When I say love and support, it's like, well, I have no choice to be in this house and do this. I can see that you are enthusiastic. Whatever you do is supporting me. And then, of course, if you're a Christian, they want prayer support.
So the man must
humble, understanding, cooperative, a domestic woman, therefore home arrangements and curtains and receiving visitors, anything domestic. Because see, the woman was brought to the man in a home. And God left Eve with Adam. So he had spent time to Adam, expecting him now woo her and get her into your company with your vision. A vision is the central driving force of a man. If It's not just having children, having a house, having this. Vision is what you pursue in life, and the test of your vision is how soon you give it up.
Reverend, if the woman does not have any culinary skills, that is, she
doesn't know how to cook and
doesn't know how to
She has
cook.
to learn. Doesn't mean don't marry her, but she has to learn how to do it. Do you want to say that your mother-in-law and
Reverend, would you run into trouble with this view? Because not too long ago, there was a Nigerian pastor who was heavily criticized for advising men not to marry women who don't know how to cook.
No. You know what I said? I said, it doesn't mean don't marry her. It's one of the qualities. In fact, it's an opportunity to teach her what you want. You can even do it together, gradually. Work together. You see, work together. But I mean, if you take the special domestic role of women, is it daddy who has to teach your daughter how to cook? No. Mommy has to.
Is that itself not a problem to say it's domestic? Domestic.
Yes.
Is the place of the woman to cook and clean the house?
No. That's not the meaning of domestic. That's the meaning of domestic. When you say domestic animal, there's no cooking. It means around the home. In other words, enthusiastic, joyful homemaker is the meaning of the domestic in this sense. Okay. Joyful homemaker. I find it difficult to believe there's a woman who is not a joyful homemaker, doesn't care about the color of the curtains, the type of rug you have, how the kitchen is, and everywhere, is happy that the husband, I have to clean the master bedroom, bathroom. But that is my job, one of my jobs in the house. I help other areas. I try to take that. Your wife can do all of it. For when we're in New York, we actually shared the work. I'm for the living room, and for some other parts, and she's for the kitchen. It doesn't mean I don't do anything in the kitchen. But we shared the work because the two of us were there. And there wasn't anybody to help physically, you see. But talking about the qualities again, a woman...
So we have looked at humility, the woman must be cooperative, and she must be domestic.
Understanding.
And understanding.
And the woman must be a woman who is resourceful. When I say diligent and resourceful means you work hard. The man must be too. We're talking of the woman. No?
Yes.
Must work hard.
And I want us to deal with that.
Resourceful means it's not only that kitchen and babies. You can help in other areas according to your expertise, your knowledge, your background and things. For example, when we were in New York and my wife said one day, I'll paint the house. It wasn't too dirty to me, but she said, I'll paint. Enthusiastically. She went and bought paint, put on a shorts and t-shirt, and painted the entire house. I was amazed. She told me, don't worry about it. You go to school. I was then doing my PhD. You see, that's an example, but it doesn't mean paint the house to be resourceful. There are some women, apart from the kitchen and babies and this, there's nothing else they can. Even simple, if George and Kwame were here, you know, he doesn't know how to play the machine, get interested. Emails and this, they are not interested in anything. Any simple thing, you have to teach them to do. You don't have where to sign signature. When the line is, they don't know where to put your name, you see, then there's a problem. Then also we want a woman who is not quarrelsome. She knows how to forgive and is not quarrelsome, because women are emotional and they go so help to tame her emotions. With us who believe, we use the word and prayer. God says wash her with the water of the word, as in Ephesians chapter 5. Then you also want a woman who helps to bring unity. If women come and are dividing with their utterances and behaviors, it doesn't know how to open the mouth and say simple things. You know, he takes the phone and says something, and then your sister can't come to the house anymore. He just brings it out. He's not a thinking talker. Communicates roughly. Then it is a problem. Then a woman who is neat. And I always use the kitchen and the bathroom as a sign. When I come to your house, and I go to the bathroom, and then I get to the kitchen, I can tell who you are. You see, but the neatness. Of course, men must be neat, but this is the woman.
Okay,
so go on and on. But
and these great. So I was coming to that. So these are qualities,
and of course, he fears God. He will not do all kinds of things. It's the fear of God, and he will seduce you into sexual stuff before you marry, and then you don't respect each other. Some of the women actually do. The one mistake women make is that they think when they have sex with you, they lock you up. You almost give them what they want, and you marry them. And when it doesn't happen, they're in trouble. And sometimes they even want to do it orally and other things because to hide pregnancy, trying to get, And they run into a lot of problems. Many are hurt, as I do counsel. Because in the end, the men don't marry them, and they feel terrible that the most precious part of you, you've given it, and you have been violated. And I don't know why some of them, when it comes to that, don't set the rules and standards. Because, you see, you have to help the man. You see, and if the man is even tempted and wants to do, and you know it's wrong, because later you're going to pay for it by disrespect, and the hand of God will not be with you properly, because God says, don't do it. You have to help him. By giving it to him, you have not been helpful. And I tell women, be careful, because when they go to say that if sister so-and-so had married or courted your man, would have stood on the feet to help him when he was drowning. Because in fact, the reason why a lot of partners don't trust themselves is what the sexual things they did before the marriage. We never kissed once for 2 years. We called it 2 years. I accepted Jesus 47 years ago. I made up my mind I will never touch a woman's avatato mountain in the front, the gluteus maximus behind there, for the headquarters, unless you're inaugurated at Independence Square. What are you doing in the first half hour?
Okay.
So I never went there. And I'm happy. I'm able to give testimony even to your children and to people. Now, what actually happens is, if your mind is not made up and you don't understand it, then you do it. And the reason they don't trust themselves, you know, one time in 25th of December 1999, I remember, Joy made us come. And they took us even to Kumasi, and Lab FM brought all the machines to Amakom Roundabout. The program was to be 9 to 11, no, 1 a.m. That time, Peace FM hadn't started. So everybody was listening to Joy. And all these stations, they hadn't. And my wife made a standing statement with Susan Aite, who was doing Home Affairs. This is 1999. Susan knew me at a Brigade Secondary School. So he knows how I interact a lot of girls. He said, how do you marry this man? Because I want a piece of this man. And he said 2 important things. He said, trust him. Then he said something she hadn't said to me. He said, I told someone, if I see, this is proverbial, if I see my husband and a woman in bed, I will not worry. If that is what he has to do, lie down in that position to make that woman happy to go and do better, then that's what he had done. My husband will never have sex or kiss or fondle that woman. That's what she said. It is because of the impression I gave her for 2 years when we were courting. But imagine I say, oh, stop. And the women, they don't become aggressive. Stop. Stop.
Okay.
Stop. Oh, sure, George. And then he begins to do it, and he says, oh, George, then he gets up and says, oh, George.
I'm giving up.
And George is doing, oh, George. Then maybe after church or Joy FM, he sees me and a woman in a car somewhere at Achimota on the way to the house, or even after church. He's hiding there with Dr. Kisidu. He goes to visit Dr. Kisidu alone. Hey, watch her. And for when he just started, you go, The impression you gave her, when she was doing it with you, before your parents gave you to, you have disgraced your family, gave you to the man, that is why the man doesn't trust you. Because the way you behave when you're enjoying it, hey, you see, and the same with the men.
Would the lady of the modern lady not view this as very conservative ideas?
No, modern thing. That's why we're getting modern problems. When you do what is wrong, Almighty doesn't change it unless you don't understand God. Remember when I was invited by the government to speak, and I remember Dr. Christine Nyama, who was special assistant to the president, said, everybody discussed this. Dr. Christine has said something so important. Discuss it in the churches, in the homes, everywhere. The news media carried it. I said there is a clash of cultures. The local culture, the technological culture, and the foreign one has become a bizarre mixture. And if we don't teach our children, these children coming up, who don't even know what ampe and oware mean, but WhatsApp and this, and now they're doing WhatsApp sex. Do you know that? I was surprised. Students, you know, I go to the schools, they get complaining, yeah, horrible phone sex, this one, that one. And we leave this country for these children who will not observe any of our values. Of course, there are a few things we say, oh, they are outmoded. Yes. So that culture is making us think more. Now, countries where you have destroyed all your moral fiber. I've been to these nations. I've been to a couple of them as a student. I was a student in Scotland, a student in Holland, one of a trip to Germany. I traveled to Canada and US and all the kind. What I'm saying is that be very careful what you copy. Because you see, when we get to the stage where if you feel it's right, and there are no absolute, then we are in trouble. Because anyone can get up and say, because you are not treating me fairly, I have the right to also take your laptop because you have too much. And any means I used to get it because you are cheating. And maybe the means you use even to get your property is not right. So I should come and find a way of taking away your car by false means.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But
so let's be very careful how we do these modern things. Because in the process, we are getting a lot of modern problems.
Okay. So, Reverend, we're looking at what the lady should look out for in...
Yeah, these are some of the basic things. You will not get all. But you see, you fall in love with the personality. You live with the character. Let me say to you, so that the tree, someone's watching you, when you you fall in love with the personality. My wife doesn't live with me standing here or sitting here. Someone you don't see. Character. Now, for the man, the first thing to look for to marry a man is honesty. If the man is not honest, run away. By saying that you have come only for me, and you don't mean it, and these guys go around playing with the hearts of the girls. And the second thing is leadership qualities. Let me
explore this point about honesty.
Yes.
It's often said that women like bad guys.
All of them. These people are talking in the city about a few people. Have they gone to Donkokrom and gone to Gumwa and gone to that place around Wale? They haven't gone anywhere. Some place around outside of Lagos. Who said that? It's not true. It is some of this elite. The person is talking around the environment. He takes his mind to interview a few people around East Legon and Seko and Odoko and places, and then he comes and say they are an average person. Have you gone to Tutokapima Mampong? Have you gone to Adoso?
But Reverend, when you are in school, you find that the guys, those who are bad boys, they are the guys that every lady wants to date.
Not every lady. A number of the ladies, because they are hard time, they think first they taught them values in secondary school and high school. Now they invest as if no control. These are the girls. But if what they are nice ones. Do you know a comment someone made last year? I was a little upset about it. I was telling them that now when you put up billboards and you put up notices, actually banners. So we're putting up banners for pastors' conference in Kumasi. I said, this is the church. I think like 400,000 or something.
Yes, I mean,
Old City, which is 40,000, something like that. And I said, hey, now the church. I said, yes. And I said, it's not like US and places. You know, US is not free. You pay. You pay something for everything. Okay. Even license my own fence around my house. I didn't know we had a little fence, and then we had someone to come to the city council to get a permit. You pay. I didn't know your own house to put up a fence. You pay. Yeah. Then he made a comment. I said, oh, what do they do with the money? I said, oh, I mean, this is like tolls are for the bridges and the roads and all that. Said there's no one who is honest with money in Ghana. I was upset. There are people who are honest. Because the majority of people have given that impression. If you look at what he's wearing or she's wearing, what he or she has bought, look at the car, look at this. It doesn't go with the salary unless he's doing something extra. So if I don't see that something extra, then I have doubts. And many have received monies without doing the job they're supposed to be doing. You see, sometimes you give it to them and said, I took my lorry fare out of it before I gave the $300 to the person. And the lorry fare alone, maybe $50.
Okay, so the lady should look out for honesty in the man.
And honesty in the man. And honesty is not just, dishonesty is not just telling lies. If you keep quiet and carry the wrong impression, you are being dishonest.
If you keep quiet and convey the wrong impression,
you are being dishonest.
How?
Yeah, because you make us think you think this way when we are not. Because later it's going to show. It's like being at a meeting and when we're voting, you didn't bring your opinion. Then we see you are not supporting or you say negative things behind. You will never ever support with your heart when you are supposed to talk. Sometimes don't talk because when you talk it will be misunderstood or it's not appropriate. But in a number of cases, do you like it? Oh, it's okay. It's not okay. Then you hear it from somebody that when you go there, he does this. Are you okay with it? Fine. They're going to tell you when it comes, it stays too long. It's very common. The honesty here is especially coming to me and telling me of all the thousands and thousands of girls. I appeal to you and you want to join your life and share my life with me. Because men being creatures of the eye, the first words from the strongest man who ever lived, Samson, in Judges 14:1 and 2. I saw a woman. That's when they removed his eyes when they caught him. Our eyes are a problem. We're eye people. But we are supposed to use what we see to build commitment interest. Commitment inside us. The deception there is difference between commitment and interest. It has made us marry people, elected people into offices, chosen business partners, gone into jobs, appointed people, given people jobs to do, brought housemates, live with people, invested because of interest. And when the interest is deep, we show deep interest. If it is not converted to commitment, your gas will run out. Because interest gives excuses, commitment gives no excuses.
Reverend, we have to take a break at this point. When we come back, Reverend will be telling us those other things. He's giving us one, honesty. What other things should a lady look out for in choosing a partner? You're watching PM Express. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, welcome back. We are discussing what to look out for in choosing a partner. My guest is Reverend Dr. Samuel Kisiedu. So, Reverend, you gave us one.
Yeah, honesty. The next one is for a man, exhibition of some leadership qualities. Not all, because you are not yet the husband, and so many challenges have come.
So the man must lead.
Yeah. If, for example, anything good, we have to go out, we have to purchase this will help us, and the woman always has to suggest or take the initiative. It means he has a leadership problem. Some live with an uncle who was like, hey, or a daddy wasn't there, or he didn't know how to lead and all that, whatever it is. So work on it. But if it is zero, then really be very careful, because in the end, you have some absentee landlord. He's sitting in the house, or mommy does everything. The other thing to look for is the fear of God. It's the beginning of knowing what to do, which you call wisdom.
Let me take a step back and look at the point about leadership. How much is a problem if the man was brought up by his mother, and you were talking about people living with their uncles. This one, he lived all his life with his mom, single parent. And how much of it is a problem if he has to always go back to his mom and consult his mom on matters that he's deciding on with his wife?
This is where you need a counselor, a mentor. And I tell people, don't marry without a mentor. In fact, if you're married, you need a mentor. Someone who's a little older than you or a little far above you, who knows more. If, for example, my wife, I upset her to the point where someone has to come in, and my wife doesn't have anybody to call, that's a problem. You can't just call anybody. You don't want to disgrace your husband. But there should be a mentor in your life, and then accountability partner. Either your age group of just a little above you. Right now, if anything goes wrong, I know he's going to call California. We have friends there. They can come to our house. We can go to their home. You see, age group, trusted friends. And this is why you must begin early. Before you even married, have somebody who will be there as a friend at giving you tips and things. People have to be taught. There is no way, even Jesus Christ, when he saw them like sheep without shepherd in Mark, is it chapter 6, 34? He taught them many things. Teaching is the solution to ignorance. That is why we take people to school. So if premarital counseling, some say it's not important, it is. It's insurance against future problems also. Then secondly, you the girl should have prepared yourself, if help Adam, by having a few tips you can give to the man. When the love is hot, that is when the woman must now seriously bring out important things. But they don't.
The point I am driving at is the lady feeling the husband always runs to the mother at the least.
If it is a problem and it's going to be a problem for you, then don't marry him. You see, it's not every problem you are supposed to be dealing with. I know a friend who was going to marry, and the lady had a problem with some disability in the family, blah, blah, whatever it is, and came and said, what do I do? I said, you know what? If you go and marry this girl, because they were dating for a while, then took the man home, the man saw a few things. And came and asked, what do I do? I said, you have to decide. An advisor is not a decision maker. If you know you're going to marry that girl, and then some of these things you are seeing are going to disturb you, and the girl will be miserable, and you end up divorcing, then you better break it. I didn't hear from you for a long time. Later on, I realized that she married somebody else, which is better. If you can't stand the heat, leave the kitchen. If you can't be a companion, through thick and thin, stay by the person. before you marry, decide, I am not going to divorce. Make up your mind before you marry. And let God confirm with his peace in your heart, which is the final test for God's will. Then you never doubt in darkness what God show you in the light. If you switch off this light, I shouldn't be afraid, because there is nothing here which wasn't there when the light was on. So get enough light, enough knowledge, enough fear of God. You see, if the person doesn't know, you try to help the person. There are books now, internet sites, some are ready to learn. But if many of us, especially the older ones and those who experience, the problem is that we've been instructing and teaching so much, we have forgotten to be students. Then you're going to get problems, and something is going to change, and it doesn't. And it's worse when children come in and you divorce. So it is case by case examination. There's no across the board a blanket statement. If you see this, don't marry the person. No.
Okay. So we were looking at what to look out for in a man. So we did honesty, we did leadership qualities,
and it has moral values, morality. Otherwise, when men get fired easily, it's going to touch you and do this and pollute you. Some go to the extent of even abortion. How can you do all this before you marry? Do you think your marriage is going to be wonderful? You kill your firstborn, your secondborn before you even on all that. Moral, and moral is not just sex. The talking, the language, the behavior. You go to a party and things. One woman said, my husband always disgraces me. The kind of dance. You go down the buttock and do things. I mean, the next thing you need for a man is a man who is gentle. If a man is not gentle, it is very difficult for a woman to marry such a man. You yell at you, shout at you. No woman can enjoy a man who is harsh with his words and is not courteous. He slams you and all that.
Should the man have money?
Yeah, I was going to come to that. I was going to come to money. Financial stability. I don't call it money.
Okay.
Financial stability. Why should God put gold in the garden in Genesis 2, 11 and 12? Call it good gold. The gold wasn't in the garden, it was around the garden. You see, it's like a bank. It wasn't inside the garden. Eve, don't worry, there's money in the bank of the earth. To me, it also represents savings and investment. If you have only 5 cities, and I have 10,000 Ghana cedi, disclose honestly. The reason they were naked implies total transparency. And let's see what we can use to do, because when we come, we pull our resources together. The problem comes when I feel that my money is big, yours is small, so I don't want to join, let's have separate accounts. Beginning of the selfishness. And I can do anything I want to with my mom and with my people or my brother or this, and you don't know what's going on. So seriously speaking, you are like 1/3 in the marriage, and family members and friends are 2/3. Because money does a lot.
So financial stability is important.
Yes,
we have to take up another
financial
break.
stability.
So that when we come back, I'll be bouncing off Reverend. If you remember, I did the show with Reverend Councillor George Lutron, who argued that it is the duty of the man to take care of the home. The wife has no business contributing any money to that. I'll be asking Reverend his views on this controversial suggestion. You're watching PM Express. We'll be back. You're welcome back, and we are discussing what to look out for in deciding on a partner. My guest is Reverend Samuel Dr. Kisidu. Doc, so you gave us, for the man, he must be honest, he must show leadership quality, he must be gentle, and he must have financial stability. How much finance constitutes stability?
It is case by case examination depending on your vision and your circumstances. If you are living at some home and you live in some 2 simple bedroom, you don't worry about a car, you can even walk to work and all that. Your finances is also different than someone living in East Legon who is a graduate from Legon, who is so and so in that company and things, and the petrol, the gas alone, all kinds of things, and projects you want to undertake and all that. So depending on the vision and things, begin to plan, cut your coat according to your size and see where. So you have one of my books is Planning for Successful Relationships. You must have a short-term plan, a mid-term plan, and a long-term. First, even in courtship, if it's 1 year courtship, first 3 months what? By 6 months what? By the 11th month what? You must have that. So what I did was to list 18 things. You see, when you want to have your first child, what does it mean to do this about children?
Should the woman be worried if the man has a car or not?
Yeah, it depends on the circumstance. If the taxi money is is taking away a lot, because I have to take 2 taxis to go to work and come, and we project and plan well, and we can use some of the money for down payment, whatever it is, which is more economic, whatever it is. So it depends on the two
I guess
people.
my question is, if the woman said, if the lady says, if you don't have a car, I'm not going out with you, I can't sit in a taxi.
You're not going to marry a car. Don't put it that way. Then you got a problem. You are coming for things and you are carnal. What you want is the man. The man you are going to value. The woman. But you're talking of the visual is to keep the marriage going. The marriage is not just money, car, building, and things. Otherwise, then you go to towns and the villages, then people won't marry. Somehow they have a cutlass, something little, they kill some antelope and this, and they are very happy without electricity, and they use sticks to make fire and whatever it is. The majority of people around the world, if that's what we're talking. But if you're in the city, we know it's a different setting. But if you are allowed the sophistication, this is where your local culture is mixing with the technology, where someone was insisting the husband buys her a $2,000 cell phone. What are you going to use it for?
Sometimes the parents give a list and they request it.
But if you look at the background, people have been spoiled by foreigners coming and giving them bad taste and making them papaye and rice and restaurant and this. So that is where the cooking comes in. Because if you're not going to stay home and you teach your children the importance of mommy, when mommy bakes bread, mommy cooks. It doesn't mean just stay there and be a cook. That they can make it romantic. Help. Our wife will say, are you busy? I said, no. Can you go and take the fish out? Says it's a chicken. Try to, can you? And it makes it so nice, it becomes romantic. And I used to laugh at her throughout 34 years of marriage. I'm going to worry you. Throughout the marriage, she prepared herself for that. So what is it? Are you busy? Can you go to the fridge and take out the fish? By the time I come, sometimes I say, remove the skin of the chicken and go. The adobo seasoning, look at the corner of the drawer. And then there's this laro salt. Don't put too much of this. You sit it down for 1 hour. Put the oven 350
You are
degrees.
being guided.
Yes. This is my wife telling me. 350 degrees, and when I come. It doesn't mean all the time. This is where the men come in. And you stop, put away your Bible and this and this. You have read Romans. Are you going to write second book of Romans, Pastor? What do you practice Romans before Jesus comes? And leave your student, your PhD and your masters, put them aside and go and be responsible. The head there is responsible, thinking, speaking. This is from time to time. You see, there was one time when he closed from work, he was very tired from night duty. He said, there's 15 minutes more. Can you look after the stew for me and stir it? I put down everything. Your counseling, your students' work from university, your Bible, everything, and sat in the kitchen 15 minutes, stirring the stew and looking. If you can't help, then you are not a good man. You want your wife to hold tight because the wife is there. This is where the problem comes. You see.
But we are told that the wife must be submissive.
But a submissive there is not dormant. For the first investment, the man, I have about 11 of them. I talk about it once on Joy. Hey, by the way, I have a broadcast on Joy Saturday mornings.
Yes.
5:30 to 6.
Saturday mornings, yes. Yeah.
The first investment of a man and a woman is submission. Do you know that? If you look at Ephesians 5:21, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. It has nothing to do with marriage. If leaders in the nation must submit to us, we must submit to them. Bishops, pastors, overseers, deacons, elders, imams, you name them, leaders of religions, adults, parents, submit to the children and the rest of the people, and they submit to you. One way of submission is sitting and listening and see if there's anything sensible from the other person, respecting the person's mind. Even if 90%, women talk a lot, but they are like that.
So the man must be a good listener.
Yes, women talk a lot, and you can talk. You can see that only 10% is in the syllabus, and about 90% is non-syllable. But it's just saying one thing. When I was coming, there was this man. You can't even believe what happened. And he came very close. And then for 15 minutes, he just tried to tell me someone almost hit her. Allow her to talk. And the main thing, this is childish. Can't you just tell me someone almost hit you? And I have to sit and listen to this 15 minutes of narration. He was in a red shirt. He didn't even. I was wondering, who is this man in red shirt? And in counseling, so I have to sit.
Details you do not need to understand the story.
It's not a talk show to try to. No, listen to her. We're having devotion one day. Read over the Bible, and my wife in the middle said, I'm patient. In the past, I would have messed things up. When we are seriously reading the Bible and praying, your mind is in the hospital. Look at what the woman is talking about. Where is your mind? I didn't do that because I've learned about women. So that's what happens. This person was trying to, shoot something and they couldn't do it well and it went through their eyes, so he's blind. They brought him to the hospital. I said, oh, okay, then we'll pray for the person. Okay. She came with that burden on the heart. Allow her to be herself. I was writing a book one day. She came and said, I need you. Create a condition where your wife can call you, because parenting starts from the relationship between you and your wife. This is where the qualities come in. When I'm talking about domestic, you should see all the things in the women must be in the men to different degrees, but the overriding ones, it's like temperament. No one has one temperament. One is overriding, choleric, melancholic, but there are little bits of this and that. Create a condition where your wife can come and call you when she's doing kinky in the kitchen, because I loved kicking kinky. And she knew I'll come. So I stopped and went. But I had a big problem. My train of thought, I was writing a book. So I went. First 5 minutes I wasn't talking. I was writing the book in my mind. I didn't say a word. She was doing the kinky where you take the dough or the soft thing and then you put it into some parafilm and then you put it into your foil. And she wanted me to cut the foil in sizes and then she put them in, then you fold. Let your wife be able to come and call you. It is not because there are 10 housemates and you this, yes, he has made the woman stupid. No way. It is building the romance. It doesn't mean every day. It builds the romance. So I sat there for a while and then I asked myself, what are you writing the book for? For people to get along well in their homes, love themselves. And you are not doing it. When I talked to myself, then I broke out and spoke. Communication is the life of the relationship. Making it active and grow and bear fruit. It is the blood. See, the heat here is the blood. The woman is the heart. If you don't warm up and feed her with nice words and love and gentleness, your head will die, because you need warm blood for complex brain. Then communication is the currency. It enriches. It is the life, the blood, and currency of relationships. When I started talking, I had a nice conversation. My mind went off the book. Can you believe I finished and I sat there 15 more minutes? He didn't ask me to. When you open up to God, His Spirit helps you. I sat down 15 minutes. When I came back, I didn't forget the word. When I'm going to travel, I intentionally put down all the trousers and all the shirts and things. So Friday, put on this. Saturday, put on this. Sunday, this. This. Ways of involving her in your life. Because you are the leader. And that's leadership.
And I think that is opportune for me to ask that question I said before we went on the break about the place of the woman in keeping the home. The man is the leader you just pointed out. Must the woman contribute financially to the running of the home?
If you have asked the woman to be a homemaker and not work, then she has no money to contribute. Then it means you have planned with her. Don't just instruct her. Marriage is negotiation. Marriage is compromises. You lose some ground, and you must lose some, we come to common ground. So the two must find out what works best for them. You don't allow someone's marriage to dictate yours, or courtship, or life. You take inspiration from other people, learn from other people, but find out what works for both of you. Look at your qualities, your talents, your abilities, and your means and everything, and work together. Agree on what will work for you. So if you have agreed that the woman should stay home, unless you force her against her will, with threats, or behaved in a way with insistence, then she's doing it but not happy because her talent's being wasted. Some have done that. They said, you finish your masters and I'm having the first baby. And for the first baby, it takes a while, then the second baby is coming, third baby. And you're talking about like 3, 4, 5 years. Then in the end, you're having a building project, no money, and this, and the woman never did her masters. And now it's 10 years. That's a cheat. The beginning plan well, the same way they have done overseas. If you're going to Germany or US or Canada or Finland or South Africa or Italy or UK, find out when you are doing your master's or PhD, or you go there for this, what are the qualifications for a spouse joining you? Find the details. People don't. All they do is just rejoice. He's going to Germany, he's going to Holland, he's going to France, and agree on a timetable. The spiritual component of the long distance, the physical, some leave them in the family house. And then the pastor, there's a woman, is now about 21 good years. Tried 3 times, didn't get visa to join the husband in the US. The children were like 1 year and 2 years old. And look at these poor children. And the dad is there, always broke. able to bring only little amount because he's not able to get a good job and struggling. So I called him and said, my brother, why are you still there? Why don't you make plans? Because if you had been in Ghana, you'd have made it. Because your wife is doing a good job. You see, there's a guy who left and was in New York and was complaining, I had a taxi and a restaurant. I hear that the restaurant, the family members have messed it up. The taxi is broken down. What am I doing here? Because all the money was getting, you know what he was doing? Security man. He's a watchman. He's security. And all the money in New York go to rent and food and telephone. He was saving nothing. So I said, my wife was like, why are you here? Is it just the name, the old-fashioned thought that you should go overseas? Go back and fix your taxi. I was doing so well with my taxi and with my restaurant. You see? So it depends on the situation. Find out what works for both of you. But the problem comes when the woman has some money and has the mentality that the man looks after you. But that money doesn't stay there. It's going to mom, it's going to auntie, it's going to this, it's going to that. Some the man even doesn't know. Then that one is serious.
So it is not accurate that the woman's money is her money. Whatever she does with it is her business.
Then where is marriage? Marriage is mutuality. If you bring cholera and tuberculosis, don't you give me some? So if you brought a house, brought a car, brought a boat, brought a jet, I am part of it. But what you shouldn't do is that I'm the man, so you are controlling. No, it's partnership. It's like prayer. Prayer is partnership with God. You know, give me this, give me this. God wants to give for a purpose. Anytime God blesses anybody, he has other people in mind. And that is why when people get advantage and positions and they think only of themselves, they are so wrong. They forget one day they'll give an account to God. Anytime God blesses anybody, including the health I'm sitting here with, it is because he had the population of Ghana and you and others in mind. Otherwise, I can't sit here. If he bless someone to make this glass, he has in mind that one day we are using it and this blessing in a program. And this is what people don't understand. It's partnership. And nothing is yours. Your body is even a temple of God's Spirit. God is the managing director. You are just a manager. Consult him and see it is not yours. So work it out with your partnership, mutuality. I find it very difficult, this question of single account throughout the marriage. I need help. No one can convince me that if a couple can put any money together and work it out, it's okay. I don't care. That's what you think. But I'm telling you, money and sex are two things you will not want to do with anybody who is not an intimate partner. It is not the putting together of the money which is a problem for you. That is not the problem. The problem is the reason why you cannot. That is where the problem is. Why do you write from the beginning, hey, your account mine? But everything else there, we should do it one. Because we love money. What I propose is at least 20%, 30%, 40% of your salary. Be able to put it together and have financial management that is joint. Otherwise, you go to heaven with an F financial management.
Reverend, we have about 60 seconds to go. I want you to give me the three most important things that the man should look out for and the three most important things that the woman should look out for when choosing a partner.
Number one, if disobedience to what God says drove Adam and Eve out of the garden, then a woman was given to a man to help the man to obey God. How you hear God telling you do this, if God says don't do it, don't do it. Obedience is number one. So help the man to improve upon the quality of life. That is why I said values. Values, keep a clean home. What are the principles? No leftovers in the kitchen. We don't leave a place overnight. Those are the principles you operate to get the value. And then you get the enthusiasm to do it. Number two, love. Love is the glue that joins the man and woman. But love is not the feeling love. That's not what you use to marry. Love is looking for my welfare, what will make me go on, my interests, what makes me happy, my needs, my rights, and my opinion. And make sure you express love in the three ways. Say it, do it, behave it. The way you behave when you were coming late and I asked you why you were late, and you talk to me like a dog, is totally against even my wedding ring and the Valentine gift. I felt nothing. When I look at I feel like crying because you talk to me as if even less than the house help. So love. But love goes to affection. The hugging, the touching, it gives color to love. It's the icing on the cake of love. So if you're not romantic and you just don't do foreplay, you don't hug, you don't do this, it's affecting the children, you are not affectionate to them, then we are not going to have a happy home. Communication. It is the blood, the life, and the currency. It gives life to it to produce results. It grows to produce results. It distributes the nutrients. When you eat, the man is the head. Open your mouth, it gets the food. That's all. The woman has to digest and distribute. So when a woman is not well fed with nice words and communication is poor, conversation, spontaneous communication, open-ended questions. How was work today compared to yesterday? Instead of saying how was work, fine. Communicate.
And Reverend, all of these are in your book.
And the finances, all of them are in my book.
How can one have access to them?
If you call 020-812-6533, 020-812-6533 is the Fruitful Ministries hotline. Now, if you call the book manager himself, Ernest, on 020-820-9567, you can let you have them. If it's in Accra, go to Challenge, some are there, not all of them, or Calvary Baptist Bookstore at Circle, or you go to Baptist Bookstore, Amakom Runabout, opposite the Anglican School, or in Kumasi and beyond Ashanti region, call 0275-353-802, 0275-353-802. My US number, which is given at the back of the book, which is in the broadcast on Saturday mornings, 5:30.
On Joy FM.
On Joy FM is 1, which is US, 757-728-9330. What? 757-728-9330. My email is KISSEADOO@msn.com. KISSEADOO@msn.com. You want resources, plenty of info. Some of these things are even there at the website. The latest book I wrote is Qualities to Look For in Courtship and How to Solve Courtship Problems.
And I believe they can find all of this.
And the other one is How to Establish Marriage as a Successful Institution. So you can go to www.fruitfulministriesint.com. The ministry is RIES, fruitfulministriesint.com. My personal number is 0276-322-982. 0276-322-982. If you can't get me, call the 020-812-6533. I also have message series and all that.
Okay. Reverend, that's been an honor. Thank you. Thank you. We've been watching PMX First and we have been talking about what to look out for when you are choosing a partner. I believe that this program has touched you. God willing, next week we will come with another exciting edition of PMX Press. Until then, my name is Malik Abbas. Bye-bye.